Всем здорово. Ну что, давайте посмотрим Divinity Sin 2. Она вот только вроде вышла. Правда, но в первой части я не играл, поэтому буду сидеть и сильно тупить. Тут что-то очень много всяких опций, функций и прочего. Так что придется разбираться вместе с вами. Графика вроде неплохая. Что касаемо сюжета, без понятия.
Ah, you're up.
Такое.
Yes. Fair. Not too tight, I hope. The collar, I mean. Oh, not to worry. Every dog has to get used to its leash.
Ну замечательно, еще и псины обозывали. Причем в самом начале игры.
In the meantime, your next stop will be Magister William. All passengers have to be registered in the ship's manifest, and he's the chap in... You'll find him on the other side of this deck, in the officers' quarters. Why, for my peace of mind, of course. Why don't you try casting one of those source spells of yours? See what happens.
Currents of magic surge inside you, boiling, bursting, then breaking, only to fade back into your soul like rain into...
My, look at the concentration on your face. There you have it, see? The collar's function. It neuters you, of sorts. For your own peace of mind, of course. Yours and the whole world's. Dungeon? You have the gall to call my laboratory a dungeon? Oh, I'd be...
Index fingers pressed to her lips, she pauses a moment to give you a scrutinizing gander.
My word, you do seem a bit befuddled, don't you? Perhaps I was a bit... Oh well, I'm sure you'll soon gather your wits. Most likely. Eventually. In the meantime, a new life awaits. And if you're a particularly good boy, perhaps a cure as well.
Что-то балабольства много, а смысла мало. В результате я нифига и не понял. Ну вот, еще и почитать не дают.
Bloody murder.
A young magister stands pale and silent. Her knuckles whiten around her weapon as you pass.
Что-то как-то истощить нечего, даже не интересно.
No lesions, no trauma. He was bled by magic.
Come on, please, Losa.
Это еще что такое? Шашлычок.
An elf sits tucked away in a dark spot, lazily rolling dice onto the surface.
Snake eyes.
She chuckles.
I bet that's just what they'll look like.
She shakes her head.
Game for one, I'm afraid. Rolling dice, deciding fates. Don't worry, honey. It isn't your...
She looks you up and down with the merest hint of a coy smile.
Never say never, though.
She smiles contemptuously.
Just a kitten.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to
Какой-то
listen.
недружелюбный тут народец.
Locked.
Блин, а тут, кажется, можно много чего стащить. Надо ключик найти где-то.
A broad dwarf sits totally upright on the bench, eyes closed, palms face up on his knee. He raises an eyebrow as you approach, but doesn't open his eye.
Listen up, boy. You hear that?
He opens both eyes and turns his head toward you, looking you up and down. He smiles and closes his eyes.
You look like a boy to me. Listen if you're interested, or get gone if you aren't.
His eyes snap open. He looks at you and frowns.
Murder? Ah, that's what I wouldn't know anything about. I kill a man. He knows who done it. His daddy knows.
His eyes flutter shut, and he assumes his position of repose.
Whether they catch me is another matter, but I ain't one to...
With me, when you clearly don't know the first.
Well, well, what have we here? A fresh face in this stale hell.
Let's
The lizard looks you up and down, like a farmer would a fetching horse. All of a sudden, he grips you firmly by the chin, with the intent of inspecting your teeth.
My, we are fierce, aren't we? Not to worry. Now then, to business. You will answer me 3 questions. The first one is this. Can you cook?
One of us would kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Ah, music to my beleaguered... On to the second question. Can you knit, weave? In short, tailor?
Mad? Insufferable, surely.
Oh, but to feel the caress of satin on my scarlet skin once more. A most
Такое ощущение,
satisfactory
что он из
answer
меня
indeed.
пытается жену сделать, либо еще кого-то. Глупая ящерица.
On then to my final query. Have you the ability to administer the upkeep of one's personal appearance? The very basics, then. I suppose that's a start. So, 3 questions asked, 3 questions answered. As per your own testimony, you can cook, tailor, and groom. I offer you my sincerest congratulations. As of now,
Ну, в принципе,
you
что-то
are
подобное
my
я подозревал.
One of us would kill our own. They're picking us off one by one.
Can we just skip to the part where I...
You should probably come to terms with the fact that you've half a mind, full stop. Rein in your impertinence, will you? I'm a fair man, but I won't spare the
Интересно,
rod.
про какую палку он говорит.
Anyway, you may leave me for a moment. We'll go over your duties once we reach Fort Joy.
I'll tell you if you can keep it quiet long enough for me to
Да,
listen.
хамоватая ящерица, ничего не скажешь.
Please, please, please.
I forgot how to sing. I did.
You look like my daddy. His name is Frida.
I've seen more appetizing things coming
I wasn't doing anything.
О, деньжата, то, что нам надо. Правда, что-то как-то маловато, ну да ладно. Все же уже не с пустыми руками. Так, что-то я, походу, заблудился.
Really don't know the first thing about sauce.
Here to register, sir. Good, good. Magister Williams is just about done with the last passage. You faring okay so far? Glad to hear it. You head on in now. Williams will get you sorted fast.
Почему-то игра только началась, но все уже пытаются со мной чем-то разобраться, в рабство взять. Что-то какая-то совсем недружелюбная игра. Ну, зато можно вот пожрать на халяву.
Murder most foul, and I strongly suspect you know all about it.
Boring.
Well, perhaps
Интересно,
you're
зачем весь телефон?
absolutely right.
Может, продать потом можно будет?
Boring.
Standing at the center of the room, you spot a sorcerer haughtily eyeing a pair of nervous-looking magisters.
So you admit it then? You murdered that...
Yes, I did. But of course, that was only the beginning.
She turns her head and looks you straight in the eye.
There are others whose lives must end.
Good God, the woman's mad. You there, sorcerer, go and fetch Magister Siwan. We need to do more than collar this maniac. We need to shackle her, hands and feet.
It means your journey draws to a close. Do stick around for its finale, though, because
She reaches for her collar and simply removes it.
I'm just about to create a scene.
Subdue her, men, quickly! If she casts source, the Voidwoken will come. They'll end us all.
She smiles with wicked satisfaction.
Precisely.
Полегче, что это такое вообще происходит?
What's happened?
Да, вот у меня тот же самый вопрос, что случилось. так понимаю, надо куда-то улепетывать отсюда. О, еще денежка. Терпеть не могу такие игры, когда камера не крутится во все стороны. Ну, оружие это хорошо, а где его взять? Куда мне надо, вверх или вниз?
Damn. That doesn't bode well. Onwards and upwards. Gods damn it. Need to get off this wreck. Quick. Not long before this thing snaps into splinters.
Great God! Something's pounding on the hull!
The marking on the door was painted recently, judging from its pungent scent. You recognize the symbol. You press your palm against the door to open it. It doesn't budge.
Управление-то я как бы не забрался.
soon as we get to Fort Joy, it'll be time to have words with this Boris fellow.
Интересно, с чем бы это объединить? Интересно, откуда мне представить, точнее, куда я его сначала убрал? Потому что, как я видел, это прям в кармане. Что-то мне подсказывает, что сюда надо. Шут зашибись какой-то. Да, это было не лучше, я понял. Да.
A lifeboat! That means there's still a chance!
Потому что кто-то решит сейчас мне опять.
My fault! You do it!
Shut your trap, kid. Children and dwarfs first, just like the old stories say.
The dwarf yanks at one of the nearby ropes to no one.
You said there were other people down there.
You see those tentacles, kid? It's time for getting the hell out of here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you! There's a ladder right over there. You can go straight down.
You're gonna be the death of us, you hear? Had to open your big mouth, didn't you?
Never need something
The Magister lies on the floor, unconscious and bleeding from a dire-looking wound.
Почему нельзя сразу все забрать? А, это я. Да, давненько не играл.
Get yourself up the ladder! There's a... Wait! Voidwoken!
Блин, опять бить буду. Что ж такое-то?
I thought Voidwoken was supposed to be scary.
Сколько хорошо ее пришколил.
Let the games begin.
They who are about to triumph.
Bugs won't sink the ship on my watch.
Действительно, тут вскипел бедняжка. Заправлять я ими почему-то не могу. Они сами по себе.
Away. The sea's hungry. We don't have much time. We make a pretty good team.
Что ж происходит? Пошли, собачка, со мной. Так. Ну, я так понимаю, надо отсюда выбираться.
I have plans for you, child. Rise.
Honorable Dallas, we lost a ship sailing sorcerer prisoners to Fort Joy. We assume some escaped and broke their collars. Their vile magic lured the Voidwoken. All who were aboard are presumed.
Вообще, так понимаю, игра должна быть интересной, но, по-моему, очень замороченной. Слишком много всего надо делать. Хотя, с другой стороны, таких игр уже давно не было. Как правило, стандартные коридорные игры, где просто бежишь по прямой и делать ничего не надо, тоже надоедает. А тут, наверное, еще и подумать придется.
So the Order's right about one thing. We attract Voidwoken. Am I the lone survivor? Only one way to find out.
Что радует, то, что игра красивая. Ну, относительно, конечно. Вот это максимальный график является. Но все равно глазу приятно. Так, судя вот по этим двум точкам, меня сейчас опять будут бить.
Void woken. Those are the same beasts that sank our ship. Damn. They made it to shore.
Prepare yourself.
Ни хрена я не понял, что это, но сейчас посмотрим, как пригодится.
И фан.
Хорошо они его кусают. Что-то мне подсказывает, сейчас они его сожрут. Интересно, а у меня на втором. И да. Ну, давайте попробуем их поджечь.
Glory is mine.
Ой, как хорошо полыхает. Уйди отсюда, уголек.
I thought these bloody collars were supposed to keep those things at bay. The face is familiar. What's left of it? He was aboard the ship.
Ну вот, можно сумочку свалить. Уже с голодом, по-моему, все хорошо. Да, игра мне определенно начинает нравиться. Я задумываюсь, как бы не поиграть ли мне в первую часть. Ну это здорово, а где бы взять эту хрень? Да и вообще нафиг не меч, если я создал-то вроде как суммонера. Что, сейчас опять в рабство будут брать?
You spot a strange lizard gazing over the water with a steady, malcontent stare. His skin is of a bright blood red. Yes, you recognize him from the ship. It would seem you're not the only one who survived the tentacles of the deep. The lizard turns about with the graceful ease of a dancer, or a duelist. You lock eyes.
I did survive, yes. And chances are I wouldn't have, had you not returned to the aid. You have my gratitude.
Hand over heart, he salutes you with a bob of the head. More than a nod, though less than a bow.
Но вообще я бы не отказался от какого-нибудь оружия или денег. Зачем мне его спасибо?
Yes, I'm sure you've all the makings of a hero and all that, but let's not get carried away, shall we? Nevertheless, one good turn does deserve another, so as far as the whole slave business is concerned...
Какой он благодушный.
You may as well have your freedom. Now then, if there's nothing further... I'm sure I don't mean to sound condescending, but I had thought it quite self-evident I was gazing out over the waves.
Действительно, что просто не, после кораблекрушения не кстати посмотреть на волны.
He sighs dramatically.
Tell me, what do you see when you cast your glance over this ocean? White, which goes for the dry parts round here too, I imagine.
He looks out over the water once more, and so do you. A few tranquil moments.
As for myself, when I consider this vast expanse, I see continents dotted with mighty cities. And shimmering along the soft curve of the sea's horizon, I picture the palaces that... What do you mean, what do I mean? I mean just what I said.
Suddenly, having all the air of being deeply offended, he stares at you with utter incredulity.
Well, don't just stand there gawking like an ape at an abacus. Or do you really mean to tell me you don't know who I am? Oh... May the Seven have mercy on their own creation. I am the Red Prince, the All-Conqueror, the World-Tamer, the spouse of the sun. Of course you know me.
There's a brief moment's pause.
That said, I suppose I must own up to the fact that I find myself rather in between all-conquering and world-taming opportunities at the moment. The grandeur that is my fate has hit a bit of a snag. But never you worry. For the throne I was destined, and my throne I shall
мне напоминает никого иного, как Порошенко, который объявил себя сегодня президентом мира.
Truly. A kind offer indeed. And you've already proven to be trustworthy enough. Fine, I accept on one condition. For reasons I'll not disclose right now, it is imperative that I should... I've reason to believe one of them may be present on this island. Promise me we'll look for him, and I'll extend you the blessing of my company.
Наглая ящерица. Его было на кол сжечь прилюдно несколько раз. Или сумочки из него наделать так с крокодила.
Jolly good. So, now that that's settled, first, even if you are as versed in the art of eloquence as I am, that our swords will be doing a lot of the talking from here on out goes... As a born fighter, I prefer the perfection of the blade myself. But I'm well acquainted with the secrets of magic, and yes, even subterfuge. What say you? Wizardry is embedded in my nature as deeply as the instincts to breathe and drink and mate. The dominion over fire suits me best, truth be told, but there is no school of magic I cannot master.
Я что-то даже и не знаю, кого выбрать. Вроде как и хиллер не помешал бы, да и вот кто тут? Заклинатель вроде тоже интересная штука. Ну, учесть, как часто мне тут отвешивают посрачников, думаю, возьмем мы все-таки хиллера.
Very well. Onwards then to victory or death.
The Red Prince nods and gives you a smile that wavers ever so delicately between courtesy...
Now, as you're aware, you'll be travelling with a prince. Proper forms of address include Your Majesty, Your Royal Highness, or if you're feeling particularly frivolous, Milord.
Я ему сейчас точно пинка отвешу за его хамство.
As your luck would have it, I seem to be fresh out of luggage, so you won't be required to carry my belongings. Of course, there are other forms of protocol to bear in mind, but I'll see to it you'll pick up the rest as we go.
Интересно, он всю дорогу будет из меня раба делать? Надо, наверное, повсюду пробежаться, посмотреть, может, что стащить можно. Тут, да, тут мы вроде были.
A black cat. A herald of wisdom in my homeland. How fortuitous.
The cat's eyes are clouded and grey, but it stares at you with its eyes clear, and it shakes its head.
Жалко, котик не приручается. Ой, а что это он за нами бегает?
What's this? I found something. I wonder where this leads. This again.
Ну вот нахрена он эти бочки берет? А главное, куда он их убирает. Интересно, а в него положить что-нибудь можно? Ой, какая прелесть. Интересно.
You walk up to a skeleton unlike any you have ever seen before. His skull seems to be carved into intricate patterns with the gemstones approaching. You hear a profane rumble from
Bugger. How on earth am I supposed to...
Skeletal fingers reach down and grip the skin of the dead man's face, pulling sharply upwards. After a few more tugs at the man's cheeks...
Damnation. That stuck fast. I wonder, does the beard act as some form of anchor? Ah! No! Stay back! Don't... Actually, you don't seem half as threatening as those creatures in red. Run along, won't you? I have business to attend to. Why, its face, of course. What other use would I have for some rotting... A face that seems rather stubbornly attached. I would normally employ a tool to delicately but viciously rip the face from the body. I could then craft a mask to hide my bone. But as I...
The skeleton grabs the corpse by the cheeks and pulls hard, grunting in frustration as the body's skin holds firm.
Because my own was stolen from me. And the idea of being chased across Rivellon by every idiot... Oh, get away! You are simple beasts. And you simply do not like my... So, if I am to traverse this land, I will need a mask to disguise my features. Simply put, I am an Eternal, and you are not. You have... Indeed, no one seems to have the good taste to be. My people are rather absent, at least from this realm. As for the others, well, they're a cult? Hardly. We were a race that existed before the idea of race. I could ask you to imagine an Eternal as a creature of incredible intelligence and skill. But I fear the limits of your... We studied the mysteries of the universe. We created... But I will find them. Wherever they are, I will find them. We will have our world again. Yes, yes. Do feel free to call, by which I mean shout loudly.
Ну вот, первую шмотку мы нашли. Интересно, я уже добился второго уровня или нет? И где бы его вообще посмотреть уже, пока не умер. Какой наглый кошак, все-таки увязался за нами. Ну не достать-то это фиксно. Мне бы сказать, кто бы сказал, куда идти, надо там еще соображаю. А ну там еще какие-то НПСы бегают, но вот что-то пока не понимаю, как до них добраться. Интересно, что это?
Alexander.
Stay back, sorcerer, and stay silent. Our Godwoken speaks.
We know you've been helping sorcerers escape, Atusa. We have proof.
I'd sooner cut my tongue out than lie to you, Alexander. I know nothing of any escapees.
If you can tell the Godwoken no more, your tongue is of no use. Cut it out.
This can't be serious, Alexander. Come!
You should know by now to obey your superior, Magister, whatever she may ask.
Что-то даже не знаю, какой ответ выбрать. Ну ладно, давайте первый.
Stay silent, you!
Bishop Alexander looks up at the sound of your voice, curiosity on his face. Recognition seems to flicker in his eye. Atusa pinches the tip of her tongue with 2 fingers and brings her dagger to its root. Her eyes squeeze shut. Drops of blood form against the dagger's edge and...
Stop! My father, may his soul rest in peace, would be disappointed in you, Atusa. To think you would lie to his only son, your bishop. The fate of our realm hangs in the balance. If you will not help us save it, Dallas.
Yes, Your Holiness?
I believe...
What a waste. Come, we'll be needed elsewhere.
Hush. Hush now.
The lizard magister, or what's left of her, lies in a puddle of gore.
She was a lizard, yet a magister. No matter her reasons, her penalty was fair.
Come on then, Lexi. Hey up.
Ну вот, вроде немножко побегали. Я думаю, можно прерваться, тут что-то есть захотелось. Так что,
Your grift teaches you to bully others.
до следующего раза. Скоро увидимся.